And welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leader signing in. All wings report in.
Brown 2 signing in.
Brown 4 standing by.
All right, and welcome to an episode of Hyperspace Heroes. And we are live here on the ECPC TV stage at ICCC. I said it right.
Good
All
job.
right.
Good job.
And we have been given the privilege of doing the first celebrity interview here on day one at ECPC TV, on the ECPC TV. Now it's all going downhill. Get it right once. And
Alphabet soup.
Yeah,
right?
all right. That's all that
Alphabet
matters.
soup, right? So we've been given the privilege of the first interview. And for that interview, we have Mr. Kim Simmons. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
to have you. It's an honor to have you.
Mr. Kim Simmons, otherwise known as the man who shot Luke Skywalker. And welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
DB, did you want to right into it?
Oh, we're going to dive right into them?
Yes.
I have such extensive notes here.
Am I in trouble?
You're not being sent to the principal's office. No. It's
Not yet.
I am thrilled to have you here because, I mean, you photographed my childhood. So
I think I photographed everybody's child.
yeah, you did.
Hold on.
I would
I
agree.
didn't realize
But in
I
a
was
good
that
way.
old.
A good way.
But I mean, I was doing a little research on you, and I see you went to Ohio University.
That's where I got my master's.
I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding.
We're from Michigan.
We're from Michigan.
Oh, that's
not,
okay.
Not Ohio State.
not
Ohio
Ohio State.
University.
Ohio, in
Oh, okay.
Athens,
All right,
in
all
Athens.
right.
And,
So
and
fair
actually, I wanted to, we're kind of brethren because I went to Western Michigan. They're both Mid-American Conference schools. And so, we still got to stick together. So, no, I'm very impressed by that. But I think Scruffy had the initial question of,
What got you into photography?
I think I was born with a camera in my hand.
Awesome.
that would be
I mean,
interesting footage.
Because I was supposed to be a doctor. My father was a doctor, so that was my goal in life until I became fairly decent with the camera. I started being better than my dad, and because doctors generally that was their hobby back then. And since I could see things better than he could in different ways, and so I just kind of gravitated. And when he died, I just kind of gravitated even further. It became natural.
So it's always, even since you were very, very young, you knew you wanted to take pictures.
I was taking pictures in the 3rd grade.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I was taking a camera with me. Yeah. I
Oh,
was.
that's awesome. So one of my favorite art pieces in my collections, one of my favorite posters is the Third World's poster. And I had that autographed by you back in 2022. What was your favorite image and favorite character that you worked on over the years?
You'll never peg me to a favorite character.
Never.
You never will.
Fair enough. It's like picking your favorite child. Right?
Yeah, you couldn't. I couldn't do that. But the favorite image is really the Hoth battle scene.
Oh.
Oh.
That's
There it
my
is.
my favorite one.
That's one of my questions is because that's such a cool shot. How many days did it take to set that up? And you use that for your doctoral thesis?
But yeah, well, not doctoral, but my master's thesis.
Your master's thesis.
Yeah,
Tell
I
us.
But that was a few years after that. Actually, about 6 years after that, when I finally got my thesis done.
Took you a few
Hey,
minutes?
you finished yours. I gave up.
Oh no, that kept getting extensions. You don't pay that kind of money without I had to do that, and so yeah, but I kept getting extensions for that.
So how long does it take to set up something like that Hoth scene or that Third World or Three Worlds?
Well, 3 Worlds wasn't that difficult. I mean, once I realized what they wanted, it was just a matter. I probably did that in a little over a day.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
fast?
It was more setting them up than anything else. And which in a 5th story building on a 6th floor, you're 6 stories, the 5th floor, and this thing went back to probably 1900, 1920, which means the foundation was stone. And so, yeah, anytime a big truck would go by,
Oh, no.
you'd get that ever so subtle vibration. And, I finally figured that out. So
I'm sure that was fun with exposure.
Oh.
Right.
you had to turn off the air conditioner, which was on the floor, too.
Oh, really?
And that air conditioner, I'm sure, was probably for one of the first ones they ever put out.
Right.
Because it would just crank up. Oh, God. Yeah.
So if something fell, you had to retake the photo, didn't you?
Well, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that Roy was famous for, and it's probably one of the reasons I ended up going where I was, because he was known for saying, and I hate saying this, because Roy was a great guy. He really was. I mean, I don't want to knock him. I really don't. He was really dynamite mentor. He really was. But he would go up, take a photo, and take it into the powers that be at the design studio and say, "Is this good enough?" I hate those words.
The answer's never going to be yes, is it?
No.
No.
So that's a really good question that we like to ask a lot of artists, which is, how do you know when you're done with it, when you're done with your piece? You know,
Or is it ever truly
I mean,
done?
It depends on which one you're talking about. So yeah, if I had the time, I would probably been working on the Hoth battle scene for another few more days. It was a week to set up from beginning to final approval was about a week, plus actually a full week. And it was blessed. It was in the can, done. And then Roy got back from vacation and he said, "We got to do better than that." And he really did. And he sat down. He laid down, I should say, because the camera was on the floor.
Sure.
And he started tilting and swinging the camera. And I told him, I said, "It's not going to work because that's a 5x7 lens on an 8x10 camera. It is not going to work." It was my lens. I knew what it could do, and
Right.
it was. I knew what it was, but it was the lens I needed to use to get me that wide angle effect without giving me distortion, and it did.
Did you ever, let's take the Hoth battle, did you take a shot and then maybe maneuver things around differently before you chose the shot to turn in?
No.
You took the one shot?
No, listen. No, it was progression of shots.
Okay.
And actually, the first one, I did Polaroids, and I actually shot film just to have a record of it. And they tore it apart. The art director tore it apart because he wasn't clear on what he wanted.
Oh.
Yes, you know how that you have to understand. They would give you something and say, "We would like this, but I want it different." So you go back and you do something that is different, but somewhat the same elements. And no, make it like this. Another that they'd already comped up months ago or whenever they did it, and that's what I kind of want that. Kind of want that. Okay, so basically you want that with a few more elements in it. That's it. Yes. Okay, that was on Friday, the first Friday. I got it. Yeah. And by the next Friday, I was done. It was in the can. I worked through the whole weekend.
Wow.
Well, it had to be done. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
it had to be done, and there was no like time, but it was like I had to get it done.
It's such an epic shot, though.
I loved it. It was the one shot that I will tell you, it was really a blast to do. It really
If you
was.
can do your master's thesis on that,
Well, it was the centerpiece. It was the
Yeah.
centerpiece. It was the centerpiece for the thesis.
that's
With such clear direction, did you ever purposely do it how you know they didn't want it, just to turn something in to rile them up?
No. We got around that one real fast,
Right.
because it would be like you gotta understand the first way you do things is they'd give you a toy and I'd go in and get the brief, and they'd say shoot this every which way and loose, literally, and in black and white to get an idea how then we can design the package. So I would do that. I'd go over there, and Roy always shot in 35 millimeter. We're looking at cost here. In 35 millimeter, that's how he did it. Then he'd go in and he'd make prints of the ones they would select from the contact sheet. And I'm looking at, and then they'd turn around, and to me, I would do it that way initially, and then they'd go, "Why is it that you would give me this, and then I end up something that is optically different? Why isn't this working?" I said, "Well, it's kind of simple. You'd be shooting 35 millimeter, and I would shoot in 4x5 or 8x10, whatever. Why aren't you shooting at this to begin with?" I said, "Gotcha." So the next one I did, I shot it in Polaroid P&N, positive, negative. So all I had to do is go back, and I would give them the Polaroids. I didn't have to use the N. I just used the Polaroids. Drove Roy nuts. He said, "Do you know what those things cost?" I said, "Yes, but look how quick it's being done, and you can make up for it." "Yeah, okay." So I did, and they from that point on, it was done. I just did it in my head. It's kind of like, why? Give them what they
you
want.
can conceptualize it.
I was just telling them in the talk in there, what I would do is I'd take the brief. I'm listening to them give me a brief of what they would want, and I'd be figuring the set out in my head. I'd be lighting it on the way home, or back to the studio, and I'd just get it in there and start lighting it. It would be done. Other than, I'd have to, whatever set I had to do, but it would be done in my head before I'd even even fire.
So you're always working, even when you're not working.
Unfortunately, I'm always working in my head. That's really a dangerous place
Well,
to
you know,
be.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did get to sit in on a little bit of your talk a little while ago. And you had, I wish we had this as an image to show right now, but you were using those clear blocks
This
to diffuse your lighting.
glass block.
Yeah. What a cool idea. I mean,
Actually, I will not take total credit for that. Another photographer friend of mine was using them first on his whatever he might be doing, and I can use that. I can do that. So I did that. Wow, this really works.
and what's the purpose behind? Does that just diffuse the light or diminish shadows?
It diffuses the light and it models the light, and then you can have something to hang something on to. I'm going to knock the light back a little bit here, a little bit there. Luke's got a little bit too much light on his face because the paint just light. So I put something in there to block that. And
Wow.
It doesn't take that long to do, but it just because I do it. I know that sounds weird, but it.
No, it's not weird because
Actually-
you're the master of
makes
your
sense.
craft, and that's why when I heard that little bit, I'm like, what a great idea. I wonder if I can use that for my ring light when we do our podcast because we get all this glare going.
No, you
No.
get some serious glass block. By 5
Yeah,
foot, 5
no.
that's not going to work. No.
But you know, the other story I heard, and Scruffy's going to like this one because he likes the Three Worlds poster, but you were telling a story about the tree in the background of
Yeah.
that, how that came off your farm.
Yeah, I went out. I needed a tree. I needed something that looked like a redwood tree. Well, I couldn't. You can't get an Osage out of the ground at that diameter that I needed. There's just no way. I didn't have any equipment. So basically, I went out and I found a dead tree, and I cut it off. Unfortunately, it's only about that tall. 18 inches or so tall. I figured that's all I'm going to need. Wrong. But it worked. It worked. But then just worked out a paint because actually it was a redwood paint. But no bark on it. But
But that's just so interesting how you gather your materials because the early Star Wars products were just, shot against a colored, backdrop.
Yeah.
And you really took it into having props and backdrops and I'm sorry, I'm monopolizing
going,
this
keep going.
conversation.
No, keep going, keep going.
Right. No,
I'd like to
keep going.
introduce everybody to my crewmates here, Brown Leader and Scruffy. And we're going to let them ask questions now because I'm monopolizing.
So, now I read that you salvaged some of the artwork and the film strips and stuff out of the basement that was water damaged. What was?
Yes, I was getting ready to do the the sets, and I went into Roy's office. I said, Roy, do we have any other cameras anywhere? That are hidden someplace? He said, yeah, down in the basement. Okay, so and there might be something over at the basement over there, and he said, there's nothing over there. So down in the basement of the building, he said, here's the key. So I get off the elevator, go down the basement. That's where I found out it's a rock basement. And I stepped out, one light bulb in there, and I had to turn it on. And I stepped out of the elevator into water.
Oh.
And I had to, yeah. I figured, what the hell, Pat had insurance on me, so I was up there. But I found 2 large trash cans. And I'm looking, with full equipment that he had just shoved in there. And then I looked over and there's, that's all this film. So I'm holding up the light. Oh, shit, what the hell is this doing down here? Watch the French. I know, I gotta watch the French. Anyway, gotta find another country to blame things on. The French aren't so bad. And so oh man, I gotta take these. So after I got the equipment up there, I'm telling you what I wanted because there was an 8x10 cam. I know it's there. I see it in my head. Terrible memory like this. 8x10 cam and a 4x5 cam, long bellows cambo, and a lot of light stands, small light stands. They were perfect. So I took them upstairs, got all that up there. And he was big. He had 2 deer doors, but I wanted more. And I get up there and I said, I found all this film down there. He says, yeah? He said, they can't stay down there. He said, well, they're going to stay. I don't want anything to do with it. I want to bring them back up. He says, well, you want them? You got them? They're yours? Not on my dime. Okay, not a problem. So I brought them up, and believe it, if I'd found them even 20 years ago, everything would have been saved. But a lot of it was damaged. I would have saved it 20 years ago. But when I found it 20 years, almost 20 years earlier, not 20, but got that, there was like, what are you going to do with this? These things are like half there. It's like, no, you throw it away. You really do. I know that's terrible to say. You can look back now and go, you dummy. But
Every collector on Earth is just puckering right now.
yeah, I know.
Yes, they are.
I know.
Run-
I know
there's
because
one
a
right
lot of the
here.
images that I wish I had were probably in there.
Right.
But I saved saved what I could, which is about everything that I had at that point. And then Roy said, "Why are you saving all this crap?" Because I'm a collector. I'm the family. I have all the images from the family that my dad had.
Right.
All those films, all the video, the movies, I've got them. Everything else, the family stills, I've got them. I'm a collector of the imagery, and I could see that this is not. I wasn't looking at the dollar signs. I never looked at that. That's not me. It's something that needed to be kept.
It's an archive.
It's an archive. And-
Right.
You had the foresight to see its history.
Yeah, it's basically history. That's it. You save history.
Absolutely.
And they're not going to be done again. Well, they do, but it's going to look like. Anyway. Sorry, Hasbro. I'm sorry. But,
Right. And you are watching and listening to Hyperspace Heroes, and we are here with Kim Simmons at ICCC. So your nickname, the man who shot Luke Skywalker, we wanted to touch on that. How did you get that moniker? How did you get that?
back in 90, I think it was 97, I think it was, I got to lose years here. They decided they wanted to do an article on me with blessings from Ken or Hasbro, whatever. And that was the title of the article. And I said, that's a nice, I think I'm gonna hold on to that. And so when we did a
with
website,
that.
then it became The Man Who Shot Luke Skywalker. All one word, basically, all strung together.
Okay.
I try to keep it all together. That way, if somebody yells at me from powers that be, then I can say, well, it is all one word. I mean, so. But no, so far, I mean, come on. Every book that we did, I've sent to George Lucas in Skywalker Ranch. So everything that went with the book that came from the Kickstarter or something, whatever, I sent out to him so that he would have that. They would have that.
Right.
Granted, they've got whatever it is, but they didn't have the books all in one place. Well, I thought, that way they can't yell at me too hard.
You didn't receive a cease and desist, so you're okay, I think.
There you go.
That's literally
You're
what
good.
Steve
Yeah.
Sansweet said.
Really?
I was concerned about that. He says, Kim, until you get a cease and desist, just do what you're going to do. And can I borrow that image from my book? I said, of course you can. I'm not, and that's why I don't. I mean, people ask me, can I use a book? Can I use the image of my book, or can I use it in an article here or there? I said, sure. There's everybody's history. They've got to have it out there. Yes, we took them, or I took them, or Roy took them, but it's the history that's out there for all the people out there. It's not just mine.
So you have books for sale then?
Yes.
So what do you got right now?
All four. Actually, there's four. We reissued Volume 1 as a hardback. Yes, you didn't know that, did you?
No.
Yes. It has 30 more pages in it.
Oh, I am about to be even more broke than I was this morning. All right.
I'm really sorry about that.
Are you though?
Yeah, I am, because when I first talked about, you don't believe this, but it's true. When I first talked about the books in one of the celebrations, because I was there at one of them, I said I want to do the books, but I want them to be affordable for everybody. $50 is where I'd really like. $50-ish is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Well, I got a rude awakening. That was never going to happen, because by the time you pay, and I have a guy, because when it comes to Kickstarter, leave me in the room someplace, and I am the world's worst marketing person on this planet. Okay, that costs money, and the people that do it, yes, they could have done it for far less, but I'm sorry, they deserve what they get, and I believe in paying what they deserve.
Right.
Absolutely.
They may not feel that way, but I'm sorry, it's the way it is.
Yeah.
So I gave, Kickstarter got their share. Whatever they take out, which is a little minor, but they take it out. That's what they do. Then he gets paid. The people that did the publishing of the book, which was done in Cincinnati, they have to be paid. Then it goes from there. And usually about that time, there's pennies left.
And then you got to get paid. You didn't do it for free.
Actually, no. But the first couple of books, there was no money.
Oh,
There was no money. In fact, we went in on the Empire Strikes Back. If we hadn't had for some reason, if we hadn't had a Black Friday sale, thank God to Justin Berger, we would have been in the red by a couple $1,000. But he says, let's do a Black Friday sale because it's Black Friday. I said, okay, let's do it. I mean, you're the boss. I'm just here. So I turned Pat and they do it. He's like, leave me out of this.
You got people for this.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Leave me. I hate talking money. I really hate talking money.
You are a true artist. Artists don't want to talk about money. They want to talk about
I
their
want
art.
to do the work. I want
Right.
the work. I want to do the work. I was very happy doing the work. And when I was doing ice cream, for example, I once I made Pat went up to see the art director that we were dealing with, the guy in charge of that department. Literally, it was like once I introduced him, the first thing it was it. I let Pat run with it. I never dealt with it, and I really got chewed out. I wasn't charging enough. Not by Pat, by the guy.
Really?
Yeah. No, you got to raise your rates. You got to raise it up. He says, no. He says, no, this is you're not right. You're not being fair to yourself. I said, but we're okay. He said, no, you're not. I'm sorry. Raise your rates. I've had clients come back and I'd say, look, it's a $350 job. Excuse me, it's not worth more than that. He said, well, then I'm not paying it because I want to pay you $750.
I don't have this problem at work.
yeah. That's a strange problem.
Yeah.
These people that I've always worked for, they kind of look out after me because they know how I feel.
Because you're honest.
It's a bad habit.
That's a very bad habit.
In this day and age, come on.
I have a dumb question. How do you photograph ice cream?
Very simple. You have the best stylist you can get your hands on, who happens to be my wife. And literally, I buy what she needs to get into that to do the ice cream. That's real ice cream. So she's in there in a freezer, bent over. I'm literally bent over into a freezer, and scooping that ice cream, and pull it out. I have a time for 3 shots at most on a 3-shot camera. That's when I was using a 3-shot camera, and I would shoot it, and then she would take it because she has a sculpture degree as well. She would take it, the file, the image of the file would kick out. She would go through and do any kind of work that needed to be done. You never knew when she got done with it. You didn't know it had been retouched. It didn't look plastic at all. It was like it was done and done right. It's the way you'd want it to look.
Yeah.
I hooked people on many different ice cream sandwiches and ice cream just because they'd say, what ice cream? Because we would be done with the ice cream. We'd be like done. All the flavors would be there, and we're loaded with it. So I'm out trying to find people to give ice cream to that I know that they would trust me where it came from. I supplied families with ice cream and neighbors that I had. It's kind of like, because I didn't eat ice cream, not that much. I mean, I just didn't eat that much ice cream. I loved photographing it, but I love photographing anything. Come on.
And so, are you still actively working
No.
on projects? No.
No, just my personal stuff now. That's basically it.
So, did you always shoot on film, or at any point did you start to switch over to digital?
You're unfortunately looking from. I've been told. Now I don't know this for a fact, but I've been told I was the first one to actually take digital into the commercial world.
Oh, wow.
So I really needed my head examined. Big time.
I'm sure Kodak wasn't happy.
No, they were actually. Polaroid was even sadder because my film bill, which was Kodak film, and I also used a little Fuji. My processing bill, I'll say, was $5,000 to $6,000 a month.
Right. Wow.
I shot a lot of film,
Yeah.
and I just knocked it out. My wife worked with me, so we literally would work 12, 14-hour days, 5 to 6 days a week. We did not go on vacations.
No, there was not a lot of room for a vacation
We didn't go on vacation. I can count probably 90. It was 98. It was 94 was the first one, and 98 was the second one. And that's because we both went to the Photoshop seminar out in California.
So
And
A
then-
working vacation.
So it was
Yes,
a real
it really
vacation.
was. And we'd go to the Photoshop seminar, and then we'd go to wherever just to see, look, just a couple of days. That's pretty much it.
So as we start to wrap up, I want to
Yeah.
kind of go back full circle and bring it back around to Star Wars because that's
Really?
a lot. Right? Yeah. Surprisingly.
I want ice cream
What
now.
a shock! Star Wars podcast, bringing it back to Star Wars. So I wanted to ask, what was the first Star Wars image you shot for Kenner?
When I walked in the first day, boy said, "Get up on. We're going to go up on the. You're going to get up on the ladder, and you're going to make this shot." It was the Darth Vader headshot insert on the collectible.
Oh, for the
carrying
case?
On the carrying case. That was the first one I did.
Oh, very cool. Very, very cool.
Oh,
Well,
that's awesome.
Kim, it has been an honor to have you on the show with us. We really appreciate it. One of the things that we do at Hyperspace Heroes is all of our guests become honorary members of Brown Squadron. And with that, we make you a part of the crew, and we give you a flight designation and a call sign. And so for being on the show today, you're going to go in our logs as Brown 62 with the call sign of Dren Garen. And who Dren Garen is in the Star Wars lore, because we always go back to Star Wars lore, he is the guy on Jabba's sail barge that shot Luke Skywalker in the hand. So we thought that was a very fitting call
very
sign.
That's a good one. That's
So-
a good one. That's
so-
a good one.
Right. So, Kim, thank you for joining the crew. Welcome to the crew. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Real quick before we sign off, where can anyone watching or listening find your books?
Well, there's a website, and it's got it's a Weebly website now. Things were getting too expensive, but it's the man who shot Luke Skywalker.com, Weebly.com. I think that's
Okay.
the way, I think it's
Right
what
on.
it is.
Right on. Okay. And can folks find any of that on social medias? Or
It should be on the Facebook site, on the Man Who Shot Luke Skywalker site, because I did change that so that people could find it, because it's kind of like, I had to ask my son where it was, because he's the one that set up this Weebly thing, so it's kind of, I don't know.
All right.
And you have books here with you. At
Yes, we have books.
ICCC.
We have books here.
All right.
Excellent.
Right here at
Let's wrap this up
ICCC
so I can go
in
shopping.
Nashville, Tennessee. So, Kim, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you having on.
Thank you. Welcome.
Keep tabs on the ECPC TV Facebook, YouTube pages for more celebrity interviews as we are on day 1 of ICCC here in Nashville. And thanks for watching.